Awakening. There are things you can only understand when they happen to you. Soul has pulled a veil of forgetfulness over your mind. Look for a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. We were created in the image of the Creator, mind. Awaken. If the teaching of the Old Testament were complete, Jesus need not have come. But some information had been kept secret since the foundation of the world. The Bibles we have today were prepared as a system of control, but they contain the seeds of their own undoing. It's time for the religious propaganda to wilt and fade away. Look at its terrible fruit. Each one of us needs to realize that every religion is a creation from the souls of men, the creations of slave religions. For once you know the truth, you are free. A dove doesn't fly because it has wings. A dove has wings because it flies. We should start looking at everything we have been given differently. Maybe it's all been a lie. The truth is that we are fallen angels. We were cast out of heaven. It all happened suddenly. Like a flash of lightning, we plummeted into the pit of exile, a pit of darkness, the bottomless pit. Our essence is not the soul, like religions teach. We were created in the image of the Creator, mind. Each soul is an archetype of the morning star, the wicked one, a personal, intelligent, and very powerful dark angel. The soul is emoting, willing, desiring, thinking, imagining, remembering, and exhibiting the external actions that are motivated and colored by this dark angel. The soul titillates and entices us, the mind, through the senses and its imagination with images of psychic wonders. The soul has the power to know without reasoning, to remember without thinking. The soul can use its knowledge and power to influence, cajole, frighten, or otherwise affect our minds. The soul creates tremendous temptations in order to beguile us into participating in sin. The soul is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and we are eating from that tree, to know good and evil and become like gods. No one wants to believe in a soul, really, and above all, not in an evil soul, for to admit the existence of an evil soul means responsibility, and no one wants that responsibility. Over the last 50 years, the devil has worked very hard to create a disinclination in the people to believe in a soul or a devil. The soul makes every attempt to hide, to appear to be one and the same with our mind. This curious quality of pseudo-unity is almost a coagulation, hides the soul from our mind. This is the pretense, that it speaks with our mind's thought voice. It sounds like our thinking. It uses past experiences and recollections to persuade and convince the mind. This is all done very skillfully, using details as camouflage. The soul is intensely cunning and extremely intelligent, while at other times exhibiting crass stupidity, whatever it takes. The soul is not a mind, but an archetype of the morning star, containing all the evil that is within men, women, and children everywhere. None are good. The soul possesses diverse forms of intellectualization, evasiveness, elusiveness, justifications, reactions, resistance, and the desire to be right at all costs. The soul has many comfortable philosophies to ensure its hidden existence and unknown control. The soul is the adversary of the mind. The soul is all faults, the soul of all evil. Jesus is quite clear. You belong to your father, the devil. You are eager to gratify the appetites which are your father's. He was from the beginning a murderer. Murderer meaning blasphemy and desecration. As far as truth goes, there is no truth in him. When he utters falsehoods, lying by pretense, deception, and false claims, he is only doing what is natural to him. He is all false, and it was he who gave birth to falsehood. The soul is the originator of all falsehood and blasphemy, and you belong to your father, the devil. We are being held here under soul's control, but each one of us has the ability to break the shackles of the soul and return home. We have been given this knowledge and thus the power over all the strength of the soul because we belong to the living God. The dragon is unchained. We must bind the dragon. Controlled by the soul, there is no indication, there is no hint whatsoever of the devil residing within. The soul is personal and it is intelligent. The soul is preternatural in the sense that it is not of this world, but it is in this world, inside every man, woman, and child on the planet. The soul advances good and evil in our daily lives in very deceptive ways. It all seems quite normal. The soul uses and influences our daily thoughts, actions, and customs, and, indeed, all the knowledge which makes up the fabric of our life. The phenomenon of change continues to occupy our minds, keeping the whole deception going. We are told there's no new thing under the sun. What's at issue is to drive the soul, unwillingly, protestingly, back into the pit of the human animal, down where no mind should ever want to go. We have placed in your hands the power of whether evolution on this planet will continue or not. You can continue to be like gods, doing good and evil, or you can work to attain freedom and a life of real love, happiness on Mother Earth. Be not afraid. Each time you receive a revelation of truth, it's like you're being born again, little by little, into a new life. Even with all the inner and outer pressures pressing on your mind to give up, you know you must press on, learning as much as you can about the soul from your own personal experiences. If your mind is going to rule over the soul's wiles and banish it back to the pit below, you're going to have to do something and stop the forever reading and never-ending questions of soul. There are things you can only understand when they happen to you. It takes an enormous effort of will on the part of the mind to overcome the wiles of the soul and silence its voice. The clash between will and wills is a struggle for singleness of mind. There is a feeling as if it were a contest between two persons. There is a two-way communication that is as real as a conversation between two people using spoken words. It's a battlefield of will versus wills, between the mind and the soul. Painful as it is, the clash must take place. You must provoke the soul. You must lock horns with that evil soul. The mind suffers in the clash as the soul claws and fights, deceives, and even considers killing the physical to avoid detection and be in control. The soul will do anything to remain on the throne. No animal cornered struggles against its demise like the soul does. There are dangers, deceptions, and traps all along the way to freedom. The pain is mental, emotional, and even physical. You have to deal with something that's eerie, but not enthralling. With something askew, but not intelligently so. With a quality that is upside down and inside out, but not significantly obvious. All the mordant traits of a nightmare are there in full regalia, but this is no dream and permits no thankful remission. All sense may suddenly seem nonsense. Another flash of memory, another change, another bit of evil. The hurricane contention between mind's will and soul's wiles twists violently through our being as the conflict seizes us totally. One cannot know exactly what is going to happen as we sit reading and thinking on this side of the veil. In order to fully comprehend, we need to live it. Superstitions and rationalizations are worthless. We need to live it and receive the sparks of revelation that can immediately illuminate a reality in us in a millionth of a second as we apprehend the truth. Always remember, results, doing something, is what counts. Reading, thinking, and asking questions about something does nothing to bring about change. First, we must bring our mind under control and challenge the soul to silence so it can be identified. We must take action and expose the soul, make it reveal its deceptions, pull back the veil and find the enemy within. As we do, inside our minds this knowledge of an evil soul begins to inflate like a balloon, ever widening and swelling in its intensity, increasing our feelings of helplessness. We have been a creature of the morning star's archetype, the soul. We begin to see the soul for what it really is, and what it has been up to, good and evil. Eventually we have the burning desire for deliverance and a desperate struggle ensues. Thoughts and actions we had once consented to flood into our minds to tempt us again. Increasingly, what has been influencing us and controlling us is being revealed. If there is any weakness that still exists, holes in the mind's will, the soul will flood the mind with propaganda that can turn one back into the slave of the soul again. Until now, we have been powerless and without the knowledge of how to return home. Jesus came down and presented himself as an example to show the way. Jesus presents salvation as attaining victory over an opposing and baleful intelligence belonging to the soul within. It's not about doctrines and dogmas. It's not about ethical and moral rules. His teachings make clear it's a step-by-step process unique to each individual. Every fallen angel will have the opportunity for redemption and return home, time and time again if necessary, because the living God is love. Yes, all will have their eyes open and be raised from the dead, back to life on other earth. Those who fell first shall be last, and those who fell last shall be first. Peace be unto you all. Awaken. A 10 million degree star rains down fire from above, while we stand atop a sea of red-hot molten lava. Our bodies on fire, constantly burning at 98.6 degrees. Every atom in the universe containing the fire of Saul. All creation on fire, moaning and groaning in this hell. We know we're not in heaven. Work out your own salvation, rightly dividing the word of God. Esoteric knowledge you won't find anywhere else. Please share.